That thing ready. Nice clearance. That thing is loud and long. All right, 2020 Tantra, Crown Tantra, info in the description. Do this podcast because I don't feel like record my image no more. Because there's enough of the Truman Show stuff around us, and I could just talk this way. I don't have to deal with time constraints as much, even though there's nothing that can contain the amount of time I could talk. So, this is the best I'm going to do. And y'all can find me on all forms of social media. And if you don't have an attention span, you probably should just watch something else. So watch a shorter video of mine. Don't watch a podcast if you have a short attention span. If your attention span is on goldfish level, you should watch a goldfish video, something with some clickbait titles or something like that. Don't listen to this podcast yet if you have a short attention span. If you need attention to create, your attention span is probably too short to listen to this podcast. So if you're not creating on your own because you enjoy creation, your attention span is probably too short for this podcast. So I'm going through a wide range of things here and just talk about this process, the universal process that everything is going through. And it's really about it. So I'm going to just keep it real and then talk about what's going on in the now. So since I know that I'm personally going through this physical pain of my shoulder, being in pain for absolutely no reason, I know that there's always a metaphysical and metaphorical reason for everything that ever happens. Nothing just happens for nothing. So this is an effect of a cause. So in my personal life, in my personal journey, where my consciousness is at, I've fixed the karmas into where I'm at, or realized the karmas, because that's how you fix them. It's just observation and realization of the traumas and the memories, the dream drama. Because that's what this is. This is pretty much the mortality dream that people have, souls have synchronized with. Once that synchronicity changes, once the light spectrum changes and you have more souls that don't identify with the dream of mortality, then you have a different field of possibility. But at the current moment the current of energy that we're observing, the current light spectrum we're observing, most people are synchronized with this dream of mortality. So if you can get past that dream, that drama, that trauma, and you can observe from a greater perspective, more internal perspective, a deeper internal perspective, then you can see that you are just the timeless observer, and that you will constantly go from checkpoint to checkpoint, remembering the seeds that you've sown throughout your lifetimes, whether you're male or female, dark or light, what have you, whatever zodiac. If you flip from one side of the zodiac to the other, it doesn't matter. You'll see the seeds getting, and then you'll see what fruits that you've fathered or fathomed. That all shows itself in the process. So some souls are here, or we think that they're here. They're perceived as being here, but they are just darkness that has been projected. They don't have presence here. They're already in hyperspace, or what you would call hyperspace. So the presence that is here is more so a pattern of creation. And if you can look at life in a quantum sense, then you can see how, the children are the ancestors are the children, and that there's a changing of the guard, and that if something that's in rhythm stays in rhythm and stays in harmony, stays in an environment of that, then you have the potential you have the fullest potential. You have the telepathy, telekinesis. You have all your highest forms of human potential showing themselves in environments that know themselves. So the environment has to know itself, and the observer has to know itself. So to even realize the potential of the human being. So the environment that houses teleportation it's dwindling in this plane of existence. It's dwindling. So different. It's all about the projections, the gross projection, the overall projection that humanity, as a collection of pineal glands, this collective slow dream that we've identified and synchronized with, it's very limiting at this point in time, or point in now, whatever you want to call it. So that's the field of energy that we in. So that's the ring that we in, basically, the circle that we in, the cycle that we in, the era or the error that we in. It's mass possession. So it's really just people having lost lost touch with the visual mind and the visual thoughts, and they've identified with the auditory thinking, and that just brings you down that cycle of separation. Because again, auditory thoughts are words. Words are sounds that have been separated and arranged together in sentences to create further separation, for description, for this and that, yin and yang, separation, the apple, Eve, Adam, separation there. That's all separation through language, through spells. So we're in this ring or field of energy, a field of spells or whatever, and that's what the Wi-Fi and all that. That's an expression of the ring or the era that we in. That's the ringer that we in. That's the mass possession that people are under. That's the wavelength or the bandwidth that we're under right now. The light spectrum that people are under. So everybody's creating for attention, and they can't create without attention because it's the parasitic state of affairs right now. And if you can make money, or you can realize energy in any market. So it doesn't matter what the times are, what the up or the down is. It's just about seeing the game from the bird's eye view, from what they call in the Horus eye, the most eye. So anyway, that ring, that's those subtle festering thoughts. When we don't get fully asleep, and we're not living close to the ground, and we're not in a position where we can just relax totally and receive and then expand our energy fields, we never really get to sleep in our lifetime when we have this subconscious ringing of Wi-Fi, EMF radiation, all the radiation that's around us. It doesn't allow our subtle body to fully rest. So we never really sleep. So we're concerned with rest our whole life. We're concerned with sleep. And that's what the food is. Food is the roofie that allows you to sleep, that allows you to keep living in the dream of separation, the dream of status and separation. So that's the snake eating its own tail. And that's how a lot of people have gotten caught up in the dream, or what you want to call people, observers, whatever, extensions of the one, that energy has gotten caught up in the meat grinder, because it's focusing on a soul that is synchronizing with the reality of mortality, that dream. They're basically popping that movie in, watching it, and you're trying to edit their movie. They're calling for help, which is a false help. It's like, hey, help, I'm drowning. No one really needs help. They're saying they need help. So you go to help them from drowning out of your own ego, because you want to alter life. They pull you down with them, and then it creates a cycle of that, because somebody's going to try to help you, and then you get lost in that. So you have a separation somewhere between the energy and the will. And that's what creates all the slavery ever. And that's what I'm going through right now, is that my consciousness is now at like my great grandmother's state. And I'm seeing what caused the slavery internally and manifesting outwardly. Just being a slave to the senses, a slave to judgment, a slave to things, internal pressures that outwardly manifest. And I can see that that's the pressure and the weight that was on the ancestral tree, the family tree, that I'm experiencing the pain now, because I'm living life in reverse, reversing the karmas. I'm experiencing the pain, then I'm going back to the state of being healed before the pain ever happened. So I'm experiencing the pain, now I'm going through the event in reverse that created the trauma, or the weight on the shoulder of the family, the unnecessary weight, the slavery of the self that rippled for generations and generations. So the pain that I'm feeling is really in my shoulder. This pain I'm feeling is the same pain that if I go to sleep right now, I'll have a dream. I'll be in the middle of a dream where I'm having some sort of crisis of absorbing emotional weight that's heavy, that is metaphysically or metaphorically manifesting as a shoulder pain, or there's literally a physical trauma happening that I have to remember via dreams, that I'm experiencing the pain in the quantum sense, and then I wake up and I'm experiencing the pain here, and I'm limited here because I'm asleep or passed out in that reality. And when I go to sleep in this reality, I wake up to the pain that I'm feeling now more fully. I'm just not alive to it, so I don't feel the pain. Because you never get anything you can't handle, because you are the one that dealt the cards to you. You can't be cheated if God dealt, because there's no separation between you and the source. So it's just about, I guess you could just say, the distance, how far you are from serenity within, and how much you can trust that, how silent you are within. And then that's a good barometer for, how many breaths you are from the truth, really. How many breaths does it take to get to that stillness point, that point of forgetting up or down, left or right, the total no resistance point? That's your point of singularity, the point that we return to and fall from, that we have, that's always there within us, that we can always return to, that space of void, that where we regenerate from, where we forget everything that isn't us. That's where we defragment. That's where the breath takes us to. And when we defragment like that, then we remember the dreams and the memories that aren't ours, so that we can release them, so that we can make room for the light, so that we can breathe in this dark mother, we can breathe that in, and then we take in that light, that darkness, and it is projected from within, so we shine. And that's the darkness shining, that's why the sun makes you darker. The sun is ultraviolet, ultra purple. The crown chakra is ultraviolet, ultra purple, which you might call black. Darkness, utter darkness, complete darkness. The source of all creation is darkness. When you're complete and in darkness, you need very little light to see. So when you get to complete darkness, then the truth shows itself, because it's subtle. The truth doesn't have to glitter. It's a subtle flame that's eternal. So in that complete stillness, in that darkness, then that dream shows itself. And the more you get to that point within, the more still you get in your day. You become still. You receive and receive and receive life, and you open yourself to life. Then the more that you'll see that flame, and then it expands inside, then you use your own light within to return to the source of light. So that's just going through, that's the process of undoing, is not doing and just realizing and accepting. It doesn't really help to think or do, it's just more so accepting. And the visual thoughts, just accepting the visual thoughts and letting yourself go there as an observer. Instead of judging the thoughts as they come through, look at yourself as more as a listener and an observer of the thoughts. When you discard visual thoughts, you're discarding imagination, then you live in a blind world. Then you will probably need glasses, because you'll eat sugary foods. If you don't listen or watch the visual thoughts, then your life will not be imaginative. It won't be colorful. So then you'll go for the light or the color by external means. So you'll fill those voids with food, or you'll parasitically eat off of people's emotions, or whatever, what have you. But if you don't allow yourself to feel the feelings and see the thoughts and hear the thoughts and allow them to go through you as an observer, then they just stay there, and then you continually cycle, and you're a psychopath. So as you become more natural, you become more supernatural, and then you become super sensitive, and then you don't want to accept certain karmas. So because that, like, you can't produce it without it coming back to the source, that everything boomerangs. So even the small karmas become more sensitive to you in the field. So that's really what I want to talk about. Just a quick podcast for y'all. Anything else, man? I don't even know what else I wanted to talk about. If you guys got any ideas for me, let me know. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Make these simple for you guys. 2020 Tantra, Crown Tantra, info in the description. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, all of it. Gladys Clarity, Taylor_Bud5 on Instagram. You'll find it. All the info's in the description. Oh, and anything else? Is anything else I could say?
baby. You're so great.
That's it then. All right then.